my presentation on the cardiovascular and respiratory system.
Yeah.
So start off with the heart. That's a diagram that I drew.
Okay.
Then
Good.
the heart consists of 3 layers. The first layer is the endocardium.
Good.
It lays the chamber of the heart, so it's the inside layer, and it provides protection. And then the layer after that is the myocardium,
Good.
which is underneath the first layer, and it also provides protection. And then the last layer is the
Epicardium.
epicardium, and it forms the outside of the heart, which is like the protection layer of the heart itself. Inside the heart there's 4 chambers. There's 2 atria where the blood enters through the heart, and then it goes down to the ventricles, and then there's 2 ventricles, both left and right, and then contracts so the blood can be spread out to the body, and then it relaxes to fill with blood from the atria. There's 4 types of valves. There's bicuspid valve, which ensures that the blood flows one way, so from the left atrium to the to the left ventricle. Then the
Tricuspid.
Prevents black flow from the right atrium to the right ventricle. The
aortic. Good. Yeah.
Closes off the left chamber to hold the oxygenated blood in it, and then it opens to allow the blood to leave the heart from the left ventricle. And then the pulmonary valve allows blood to leave the heart through the arteries. The
Corgi tendoni. That's a tricky one. That one.
Yeah, it holds all the valves in place, so when the heart is pumping the blood around.
Good.
The aorta is the main artery, and it's located in the left ventricle. It splits into 2 smaller arteries. The superior
vena cava
carries the blood to the upper half, and then the inferior vena cava carries the blood from the lower half of the body back to the heart. The pulmonary valves carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, and then the pulmonary arteries carries oxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Then there's the blood vessels. The arteries carry the blood from the heart to the lungs, have thick walls, and they're large. The
arteries carry blood under high or low pressure around the body.
High pressure. The
arterioles.
Yeah.
Good.
They join to the capillaries, and they allow the blood to go from the arteries to the capillaries, and they're smaller branches of it. And the capillaries bring nutrients and oxygens to the tissues, and removes waste products. But they've got 1 cell thick wall, which allows diffusion to happen faster. The veins carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart, and they have thin walls and valves to prevent black flow. The
venules.
Take deoxygenated blood from the capillaries to the veins. Vasodilations, where the walls relax and the blood flow increases, then the pressure decreases as well as the heart rate, because there's more space to allow it to flow through. Then vasoconstriction is the opposite, so the walls contract and they go smaller, and it creates a higher blood pressure and a higher heart rate.
Good.
blood, there's plasma, which holds the cells in suspension in the bloodstream. There's
erythrocytes, tricky one, that one.
yeah, they're based. Another word for that is the red blood cells,
Yeah.
and they transport the oxygen, and they also transport CO2.
Good.
The
Leukocytes.
leukocytes are white blood cells, and they fight infections and diseases. And then the
Thrombocytes.
yeah, it
Yeah.
prevents bleeding.
Good.
So the functions of this is in delivery, the volume of blood that goes into the heart has to be the same as the volume of blood that leaves the heart. Oxygen's delivered through the blood by
Hemoglobin. Yeah, hemoglobin. Yeah.
And
Good. Yeah.
it diffuses into the muscles through the capillaries. Waste product, it allows more oxygen to go to the working muscles, so it allows more respiratory without fatigue, and it removes CO2 by breathing it out.
Good. Yeah.
More
Thermoregulation. Tricky. Thermoregulation. Yeah.
This is where the body heats up, if it's below 37 degrees, through vasoconstriction. That's where the vessels close up, so it goes closer to the heart.
Good.
And then it's also where the body cools down in exercise by vasodilation, where the blood vessels become wider and it goes closer to the skin, so heat can be released.
So how does that work in exercise then? How would you
So if
explain
you
how would that?
get too hot in exercise, then you become more red and hot.
Okay,
So
yeah.
the hotness of your body is not you getting hot; it's the heat leaving, and it could be
Good.
left during sweat and stuff
Good.
like that.
Yeah.
And then the functions of the blood, the oxygen was already spoken about, but
Yeah.
clotting's formed when the skin's damaged.
Good.
And it's where platelets form a scab to stop the bleeding, and then underneath that's when the skin's repairing itself.
What are they called?
What?
You already mentioned those platelets.
It's
What are they called? Which sites are those?
It's the last one
Yeah,
that I said.
thrombocytes. Yeah.
And then fighting infections, the white
Yeah.
blood cells fighting pathogens and
Good.
destroying them before they can reproduce.
And which sites were they called?
It's the white blood. I don't know. It was the second to last
Yeah.
one. I don't know. I can't say the
Gives
name.
the now. Gives the now.
Yeah, the Luke.
That's it. Good.
that one.
Yeah, leukocytes. Yeah, good.
No, that's
Okay.
respiratory system.
Cool.
Then there's nasal cavity. It traps pathogens and is responsible for the sense of smell. The
Epiglottis.
Yeah. It prevents food and drink going down the airway,
Yeah.
and it's like a flap at the back of the throat, and when you swallow it opens up.
Pharynx.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is basically the throat, and it's like a muscular wall. It has a muscular wall to help swallow. It's the main purpose of the pathway for food. The
Larynx.
larynx is the voice box, and it's responsible for the vocal sounds,
Yeah.
and it prevents food from passing through there. The trachea is on the end of the voice box, and it's a windpipe. It's a hollow tube that goes from the voice box to the bronchi sit into the
Yeah.
lungs. The bronchus
Yeah.
takes the air in and out of the lungs, and it splits into two.
Good.
And then
Yeah.
the bronchioli come off
Bronchioles,
that, and it goes into small branches, and it's a passageway for air to get to the alveoli. Then the diaphragm contracts to let more air come into the lungs, so it flattens out, and then relaxes when like breathing out and stuff.
Good. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with the. You got the structure of the lungs there. Yeah, you got the membrane cavity. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, let's move on, Levy.
To what? The function.
Next one. Yeah, what we got?
Function.
Cool. Yeah, talk to me about those then.
The transport, oxygen's breathed in through the lungs and goes to the alveoli, and then that diffuses into the bloodstream. That's one cell thick.
Yeah. Good.
It connects with the
hemoglobin, yeah, good.
And then is taken to the working muscles. CO2 is carried in the veins and diffuses from the bloodstream into the lungs through the alveoli again, and is breathed.
So what's that called then?
What? Diffusion?
Yeah, so diffusion. So when you get hemoglobin bounded with oxygen, what's that called? What's it called?
I thought it was just deoxygenated hydrogen.
So you've got it on your slide, look. So when hemoglobin is bound with
oxygen,
yeah, what's that called?
Oxygen, hemoglobin.
Good, that's the one I'm looking for. Good, yeah.
And that carried in the blood to the muscles. Good. Where oxygen's released. The hemoglobin carries oxygen and is a protein. Controlling of breathing, natural control.
Neural. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's two neural mechanisms: voluntary and automatic breathing.
Good.
The respiratory centres in the are in the medulla
oblongata. Yeah, it's a long word, that one.
And pons, which are part of the brain stem.
Good.
And it receives control signals. Good. And it controls the rate and the depth of the respiratory.
So how's that work in exercise then? What would happen?
So if you're exercising, the rate will go up, and it will try and control it by doing deep breaths instead of.
Yeah.
Then the chemical control.
Yeah.
There's
chemoreceptors. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Chemoreceptors. Yeah.
They're specialised nerve cell, and it responds to chemical stimuli. The postal respiratory is responsible for timing the respiratory system. So if you're like doing exercise, the time will be faster than what it normally is. Yeah. The ventricle respiratory is it's only active when you're doing exercise. It's not active like at a normal.
So what does that control then? So if the dorsal controls the timing, what does the ventral control?
The exhaling.
Yeah, and it controls the rhythm as well. Yeah, good.
The mechanism. Yeah, the inspiratory is where inspiration.
Yeah. Inspiration.
That's where the diaphragm contracts and expands the thermic cavity.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the second biggest space in your body. The diaphragm ends up flattening with more force, and it lowers the pressure in the lungs and allows more air into the lungs. The expiration is where the diaphragm relaxes and allows the abdominals to contract. And then the thermal cavity decreases, and the pressure in the lungs increases. So that's like breathing out. There's different volumes.
Okay, the volumes,
Tidal volumes, where the volume of the air inhaled and exhaled per breath. The inspiratory volume, reserve volume, is the maximum volume of air someone can forcefully breathe in. The expiratory volume is the maximum volume of air you can forcefully breathe out. The ventricle cavity is the volume of air you can breathe out after you've already breathed out. The residual volume is the volume of air that's left in your lungs after like maximum exhale, so it prevents your lung from collapsing.
Good.
And then total lung capacity is the volume of air breathed in as much as you can. I think that's everything.
Okay. Thank you, Evie.
Thanks.
Hold on.